everybody? Mike Kill 44 here, and I'm gonna do 10 things you think work, but don't work at all. I mean, seriously, they don't. I mean, not at all. If you can't tell, I just got up. So, here we go. This is by Oliver Taylor, July 14th, 2019. I'm actually going to start doing that, telling who made it, because I haven't been doing that. There are many things around us that we think work, but actually do nothing, like the hotel thermostat. It's essentially a placebo, intended to trick you into thinking you're controlling the temperature in your hotel room. Now you know why you always feel hot despite adjusting the thermostat several times. There's no single reason why businesses and governments trick us into thinking these things work. It could be about the money, convenience, or some problem with the underlying technology. Nevertheless, read on, you'll be surprised by what you find. Number 10. Hotel thermostats. Have you ever lowered the temperature of your hotel air conditioning system, yet still feel hot? That must happen a lot, considering that many hotel thermostats do not work. Hotel operators only put them there because you'll ask them to change the temperature in your room otherwise. Besides, they don't want you to leave a negative review on TripAdvisor. Some hotel thermostats actually act as heat and motion detectors. The detectors automatically adjust the set temperature depending on your movements and the room temperature. Some even signal the air conditioning system to stop working when you leave the room or open a door or window. To be clear, some thermostats do allow some control, but there usually is a minimum and maximum limit. You aren't aware of these limits, and exceeding them won't make your room any hotter or colder. Interestingly, many travelers are already catching on this fake thermostat thing and are finding ways to bypass it. While keeping energy use low is good for the environment, ringing thermostats is all about money for the hotels. Hotels save money when lodgers use less energy, and hotels are desperate to keep that in check, considering that guests will often waste power since they aren't the one picking up the energy bills. Number 9, progress bars. Those progress bars that show the percentage or time left to complete a file transfer or download on our phones, computers, and other electrical gadgets don't really work, at least not in the way we think. For instance, a progress bar at 50% does not mean half of a file has been downloaded. Almost all the file could have been downloaded, or not at all. Progress bars are not accurate because downloads and transfers involve many variables behind the control of the system. For one, internet speeds and network availability often determine how quickly a download will complete, while hard drive speeds often determine how long it takes to complete a transfer. Also, a hard drive can copy a single large file faster than it can copy several similar ones, even if their total file size is less than the large one. This is because hard drives expend more time and resources in finding and processing series of smaller files than finding and processing a single large one. The inability to correctly determine these variables is the reason programmers work with milestones instead. Computer programmers set milestones for transfers and downloads. The system only updates the progress bar as these milestones are reached. So that progress bar of 50% only means that a predetermined milestone has been reached. Number 8, pedestrian crossing buttons. Many reading this have likely had the experience of being at a crosswalk and pressing the button hoping the walk signal will come up. Well, it turns out that those buttons don't actually work. Sometimes they do work. We could divide the crosswalk button into 3 categories. The first works, the second does not work, and the third sometimes works. For the first, the walk light never comes up until the pedestrian presses the button. In the second instance, the walk signal comes up at intervals, whether there is a pedestrian waiting to cross or not. Pressing the button does absolutely nothing in this instance. The walk light is programmed to automatically come up during periods of heavy pedestrian traffic in the third instance. However, it requires a pedestrian to press the button before it will show up at other periods. That said, it can be difficult for pedestrians to determine whether a crosswalk button works or not, so just push the button anyway, or you could wait and see if the walk signal lights up on its own. Number 7, fitness trackers. Fitness trackers and smartwatches work fine if you're concerned about monitoring your heart rate. But if you're concerned with measuring the amount of calories you burn during exercise, then forget them, because they don't work well for that. This problem is one that even affects high-end fitness trackers and smartwatches, including the Apple Watch, Fitbit Surge, Microsoft Band, and the Samsung Gear S2. A 2017 study by researchers from the Stanford University School of Medicine revealed that fitness trackers and smartwatches have error margins of less than 5% when measuring heart rates. This is pretty much okay. Yeah. I just got up like 5 minutes ago. Open close buttons on two. Oh, never mind. Didn't hear that. However, the same fitness trackers and smartwatches have high error margins when used to measure calories burned during exercise. Fitbit Surge got its calculations wrong by 27%, which is too high. That becomes troubling when we realize it was actually the best among the 7 devices tested. The Samsung Gear S2 performed worse, with an error margin of 93%. Fitness trackers do not work well for measuring calories because differences in height, and weight, among other factors, mean that people burn calories at different rates. However, the trackers are often programmed to use a preset height and weight for every user without considering their actual data. Number 6, open-close buttons on tube trains. The tube trains operating in London have open buttons that passengers can press to open the train doors. Some even have a close button that supposedly allows the passenger to close the train doors right before it begins its journey. We say supposedly because the buttons do not work. The doors are controlled by the train drivers. Passengers actually could operate the doors until the 1990s, when operators discovered that the trains spent less time at the stations when the driver controlled the doors. There were some other reasons that forced management to pass the controls to the drivers too. Wanted everything to do with safety. Some naughty passengers were fond of pressing the close button when other passengers were still boarding. One such prank ended in disaster when a boy was injured after getting stuck in the door. In some trains, the buttons have been removed as part of refurbishing. Five, sunscreen. Sunscreens have only one job: to protect us from the sun's harmful ultraviolet rays. A study by the Environmental Working Group, EWG, has shown that they fail miserably at that. Only one in every 4 actually works. EWG conducts annual studies to determine the effectiveness of sunscreens. In 2017, the group revealed that only 73% of the 880 sunscreens it tested worked as advertised. The rest either do not work or contain some troubling ingredients that could do more harm than good. EWG revealed that most sunscreens did not protect users from ultraviolet A and B rays. Sunscreen makers also claimed their products had a sun protection factor, SPF, of over 50, which should indicate a very high quality, even though the actual SPF was much lower. The misleading labeling could cause users to think they are more protected than they really are. Number 4, ultrasound mosquito repellents. Ultrasound mosquito repellents have been around for some years. They are small, portable devices that emit ultrasonic noise that supposedly sends mosquitoes fleeing. Sometimes they take the form of phone apps that make an annoying buzzing sound that repels mosquitoes. The device and apps do not work. The rumor that ultrasonic sounds can repel mosquitoes first appeared over 4 decades ago. One common belief is that the ultrasonic noise mimics the sound of wings of a dragonfly. Mosquitoes supposedly flee upon hearing that sound. This claim seems to make sense, considering that dragonflies are natural predators of mosquitoes. However, it's wrong, since the ultrasonic sounds used if the repellents are around 1500 kilohertz. The flapping wings of dragonflies emit sounds that measure between 20 and 170 hertz. Besides, mosquitoes do not flee on hearing the beating wings of a dragonfly. It has also been claimed that the sound mimics the mating call of a male mosquito. This too appears to make sense, considering that biting female mosquitoes are often carrying eggs and therefore will not want to mate. However, again, this is false. The beating wings of the male mosquitoes only reach around 700 hertz, which is still nowhere near 500 kilohertz produced by the ultrasonic apps and devices. Besides, there is little evidence that female mosquitoes are disturbed by the sounds of male mosquitoes or any other sound for that matter. Nevertheless, the myth is one that will continue to linger for some time. Once a Brazilian FM station even played the ultrasonic sounds on its airwaves in an attempt to send mosquitoes fleeing from its listeners. Number 3, PC cleaning software. Ever come across premium PC cleaning software that promises to clean your computer and make it as fast as it was when you bought it? You guessed it, they do too. They too do not work. In fact, they have a terrible reputation in the tech community and have been described as the digital version of snake oil. By the way, I don't look at these before I do them. I don't. So this is like new. Where was I? Okay. The premium third-party cleaners are often rigged to make it seem like they really work, when they actually do not. They detect non-problems and list them as problems. For instance, most will consider browser cookies and temporary files as having an effect on the speeds of the computer, even though they do not. Various PC cleaning software programs also exaggerate smaller problems and make them seem like they are larger than they really are. Excuse me. Most operating systems have built-in cleaners that work fine if you ever need to clean your computer. They do not require you to dole out any extra cash either. That's a lie, because my computer here has a built-in cleaner, and I need to cost money to buy a pass. Yeah. Number 2, we're back to thermostats, but in the office. Office thermostats. Hotel thermostats aren't the only fake ones out there. Office thermostats don't work either. Estimates vary widely, but anywhere from 2 to 90% of office thermostats do not work. Interestingly, many offices once had working thermostats, but they've been removed because the tenants could not determine the best temperatures for them. Isn't the definition of a tenant someone that lives in a hotel or renting something? However, similar to the hotel situation, the tenants inevitably began ringing the heating, ventilation, and air conditioning (HVAC) businesses that manage the air conditioning systems to complain that the present temperature was either too hot or too cold. The complaints lessened after the HVAC businesses sent fake temperatures to the office. Yeah. And coming in at number 1, sports drinks. Sports drinks are often promoted as the holy grail of sports people. These days, advertisers advise athletes to guzzle a drink midway through their exercise to prevent dehydration and loss of electrolytes. This is even though most people would do themselves a lot of good if they just drank water instead. Sports drinks are really just water with some minerals and lots of sugar, coloring, and flavor. Those minerals are often sodium and potassium, which are what we consider electrolytes. For a star, consuming excessive amounts of liquid, water, sports drinks, or water, or whatever, at any time could lead to overhydration. Overhydration often leads to hyponatremia, shortage of sodium in the blood, since excessive amounts of water dilates the sodium content of the blood. no marathon runner has ever died of dehydration. But it's 2012, 16 marathon runners have died of overhydration and hyponatremia. Over 16,000 more have even been hospitalized. That said, sports drinks can work for athletes who engage in high endurance exercises that last for over an hour. The average Joe doing basic exercises should just drink water. And there's someone out there named Joe Gatto. It was funny. Well, I want to thank you all for watching this video. If you did, hit the like button. If you did not, please don't hit the dislike button. Subscribe. Heck, comment. I don't really care anymore. See ya.